Welcome to the Executive Business Seminar with author and trainer, Dr. Reesa Woolf, PhD. Are you looking for practical business tips and techniques for dealing with difficult situations or lowering speaking anxiety? Then this show is where you need to be if you are a business owner, corporate executive, or anyone ambitious about their career growth. Dr. Reesa Woolf draws from her extensive mentoring background for business leaders and executives and interviews leaders who have practical solutions. And now, with today's Executive Business Seminar on ABRN, here is Dr. Reesa Woolf.
Hello, it's wonderful to have you back for this particular program. You know that I always have guests that will add value to your life and will add some practical tips that you can use. We have someone extraordinary today. I think you're really going to enjoy her. Her name is Carol Heiberger. She's an MBA from Wharton, and she is someone who has done something absolutely extraordinary. Let me give you a little background, and then I'll tell you what she's done, because it's something that is quite exciting and extremely useful. She has been an experienced interim executive. As you know, every once in a while, executives and leaders of companies have to leave without anyone taking their space, and she's one of those very special people. I have a high regard for people who can do this, who step in and manage and lead. Actually, she does it as a project manager, a management person as well. And then what I think is so talented about Carol is that she's able to translate across functions and disciplines and really has a collaborative style. It sounds like you're typing or moving your stuff, Carol. I want you to tell our listeners, please, first of all, hello. It's great to have you here.
I didn't realize that you could hear me moving stuff.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, nothing is goes beyond our radio station. But what I wanted to ask you about is this. I really appreciate how you've described yourself, and I haven't yet told people what you've done, but I like how you introduce yourself in your materials, and that is that you communicate with managers and staff across all departments and up and down, and you describe yourself as a multilingual person on the team. Would you define that in the special way that you define it? Because it really lays groundwork for what you've done.
When I talk about being multilingual, I don't mean that I can speak Spanish, French, or English. I speak multiple languages across the corporate environment. So I speak legal, I speak marketing, I speak engineering operations, regulatory, I can speak sales, I can speak accounting, because each one of these is a completely different language. And over the years, I have simply learned how to use all these different languages and then frequently communicate between the different organizations because I can hear what they're saying in the first place.
Well, this is a special skill. As we all know, there are certain people who can talk to their colleagues but can't really talk very well to other departments. And you've even pointed out that when special meanings are assigned to commonly used words, that it adds to the confusion, that there's a lot of miscommunication simply because of the verbiage.
Oh, yeah. We have our own language, and we shortcut everything. We abbreviate everything.
So
people coming in from overseas who think they're fluent in English find out that once they walk into the corporate boardroom or in a corporate environment that they are frequently lost. And that's true for people with Native Americans as well as people from overseas.
And what is so extraordinary about what Carol has done is she's compiled a dictionary of the words and unusual words, not just jargon and not just references, social references, but new words that have been added recently. So would you explain the idea that you had and how it manifests in a book so that people can picture what I'm looking at right now?
All right. It's a dictionary. So you have to recognize that right away, because even though it's called ExecuSpeak Dictionary, every now and then I'll show it to someone and they'll look at it and they'll go, oh, it's a dictionary. Yeah, it's a dictionary. There's about 500 terms, and it's a combination of multiple disciplines, including idioms, social media, finance, marketing. And for each term, we have a single plain English sentence to define it, and then we use it in a sentence. And because of the way people learn language, it becomes really easy for someone to climb on top of what's going on in a particular environment or in a particular meeting. Shall I go on about linguistics yet, or do you want me to wait?
Hold on for a moment, because I want to actually describe for the listeners even more so they can visualize what Carol Heiberger has done is for each term, for example, crowdsourcing, which is a relatively new term, she lists only the business definition. So unlike a regular dictionary where you'd find multiple definitions for various aspects of that word, she simply has a statement, some sentences that explain what it is, and then under that, in italics, she says usage, so she uses it in a sentence. I would say for people who are coming up in their careers, because after all, this particular show, our demographic are business owners, people who work in businesses, executives who work in corporations, and ambitious people. I would say for the ambitious person who is even a native-born American or someone who is born in the United States, that reading this will really acquaint someone with words from other industries or other aspects in their company. And of course, for the person who speaks English as a second language, it's an unbelievable resource. There are many books that have idioms, but this has only the business meaning of it. So I just wanted to highlight for everyone how really special this book is. Carol insisted on sending me a copy. When I opened it, I had to email her back, wow, this is an exciting book. So now go on and tell us how you felt the need was there, and for gosh sake, how in the world did you do it? It's beyond my imagination.
Okay, so it is organized alphabetically, and then it's also organized by subjects. So you have multiple subjects, and dictionaries are not generally organized by subject. Usually it's 1,000 marketing terms you need to know or 1,000 accounting terms you need to know. And nobody needs 1,000 marketing terms, and no one needs 1,000 accounting terms. That's crazy. You need just enough. If you need to go any deeper into it, then you're going to have people around you. But there's a lot of stuff that's just the basics. How did I go about doing this? I got my MBA from Wharton when I was 23 years old. I'm a lot older than that now, so I've been speaking like this for my entire adult life. The course of my career has not had me in positions and in places where I was always talking to other MBAs. Most of the time, I was not talking to other MBAs. I was talking to people in other industries, people who didn't necessarily have the same level of education, or some people who had different kinds of educations. And as a result, I was always translating. And then even in the corporate world, I was generally an engineering-type firm, so I was always working with engineers, and I was the business person in the room.
I can appreciate the need. Yes, I can appreciate the need for defining terms, and I appreciate your awareness of, I think I can help facilitate the communication if I help clarify terminology.
That was essential. I was usually in an arena where it was new product development, and so there were not, the only resources I had available to me were the people in the company who were creating. Because the books hadn't been written yet, and the texts hadn't been written yet, and the courses weren't available yet, because we were creating the work while we were doing the product development. And as I kept moving around, I would always find myself in an environment where I didn't know what they were talking about. And if I would just let them feed my brain, if I could just grab on to 3 or 4 or 5 new words that were appropriate to what we were trying to get done, I could start to jump up onto the learning curve and really learn all about the new subject that we were working together. And so, being a liberal arts kid, even though I have a business degree, being the daughter of an English teacher, Yeah.
we're seeing a trail here. Yes.
It just became clear that some of this was just needed. And when I started putting it together and I started thinking about it, I wanted to create something that people could be using on their smartphone where they would be able to read the meaning of the term under the table.
Good idea.
While somebody was in front of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to be able to do that, it had to be in really clear, simple English, because I know that there were many times during the course of my education, during the course of my career, where you're listening to somebody talking and you miss just one word, one phrase, one term. And by missing that one nugget, you lose everything that's going on in the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And the old school way is to simply turn to the person next to you and whisper
yes.
in their ear and go, what was that?
Mm-hmm.
And they would come back and tell you in an equally short whisper what you had missed. And then you were back into the conversation. And I wanted to do the very same thing, except I needed to do it with new technology, because so much of my career was in telecommunications and IT. I could just understand and get in my head what needed to be done. So I could just see it on a smartphone, and the definitions are so plain and clear that if you have the phone under the table while you're in a meeting, you can just glance down and drink in the meaning of the phrase. You don't even have to read it.
This is super. Carol, I'm going to stop you for a moment because we need to take a break. We're talking to Carol Heiberger, H-E-I-B, as in boy, E-R-G-E-R. And Carol has written the ExecuSpeak Dictionary. Useful if you're calling on a new client and don't know that industry. Useful if you're searching for jobs and you're applying for a company and you want to know more about that industry. This is really exciting. Carol Heiberger is reached at 215-545-1856. I'll announce that again. I'll see you after the break.